Hey everybody, thank you for being here. My name is Emily A. Francis. I add the A because without that A, you're going to find a lot of Emily Francises out there and it won't be me. I'm the author of the book Witchy Mama with Melanie Marquis, if you remember this book. This is Magical Traditions, Motherly Insights, and Sacred Knowledge. This book came out a couple years ago and it's about conscious conception and raising spiritual children. The next book was in my wheelhouse, all my life's work, The Body Heals Itself, How Deeper Awareness of Your Muscles and Their Emotional Connection Can Help You Heal. And I do want to discuss some of this today because body work is my life's work. I have studied energy, healing, massage therapy, neuromuscular therapy, manual lymph drainage, and combined decongestive therapy, Reiki, 7 rays, Usui, and Karuniki Reiki. Body healing has been my work for more than 20 years of my life. Constant study. My new book that just released in May is Whole Body Healing. Create your own path to physical, emotional, energetic, and spiritual wellness. I did this book as the follow-up to The Body Heals Itself. And if you see, they are meant to be because they go body to body, front to back, side to side. They're kind of a set. So if you have not read The Body Heals Itself, you're kind of picking up where I left off into the new book, Whole Body Healing. So I want to talk about whole body healing as our primary focus today. I am the host of All About Healing on Healthy Life Radio every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's on healthylife.net. The show is called All About Healing. And I have the pleasure and honor of interviewing people from all over the world on different healing modalities and opportunities to help our bodies balance and heal. So I want to go through The Body Heals Itself is about your muscle body and why we carry pain where we carry pain. What are the emotions that tend to stick in certain muscle areas? And when we get to the Q&A, please feel free to ask anything you want under that subject because it's still my jam and my highlight, and I'm happy to discuss why we carry things where we do. Whole body healing. The reason that this means so much to me is because it's really important that we understand that there are different aspects to our bodies. The physical aspect of the body cannot be the only vehicle that we use for our healing because it's limited. It's just the physical body. So if you have something that's issuing, then you go to your general practitioner or your naturopath or whoever it is. And a lot of times people stop there. Okay, I've got to obtain a diagnosis. I hope that you get one if you need one, or at least gather your information so that you know your proper starting point for whatever it is that you're trying to achieve within your body and your health. You don't have to be sick. This book is not for the sick, but it is for people that are in need of balance and healing in any capacity. So the physical body, that's massage treatments, that's chiropractic, that's naturopath, that's herbs, that's homeopathic medicine, that's general practitioners, that's specialists. All of that follows into the physical aspect of your body. But what happens if you're constantly feeling off balance and you go to your doctor and they do a million tests and everything comes back healthy? Then what do you do? Do you decide that that's it and that it's in your head? Well, guess what? It might be in your head, but different than the way you're looking at it. The emotional body requires an entirely different team of people to address and help you balance. The emotional body includes your psychologists, your psychotherapists, your talk therapies, your hypnotherapies, your EMDR therapies for trauma. It also includes your psychiatrist if you need to get on medication. Understand, this book has no agenda. It's not a right or a left or an allopathic or a Western Eastern. It's all of it. My role in my life is to do as much research as humanly possible on healing and present it to you without an attachment to what way you choose to go. And that's really important because I am offering this as an objective researcher into body healing. And I know this body healing because I had to address all the layers of my body in order to heal from very severe anxiety and panic. I sat out for a lot of years in my life because I just constantly felt like I was breaking. or unhealthy or fragile. And it was terrifying. And until I understood the different layers of the body and what I call the different memory systems within the body, your mind has a completely different memory than the way that your muscles perceive situations, and different than cellular memory, different than tissue memory. Muscle memory can go under tissue memory, but muscles are different than soft tissues as a whole. It's a blanket statement, soft tissues. Soft tissue memory can include fascia, tendons, ligaments, muscles, blood, plasma. All of that is considered soft tissue. But the muscles, there's a bellies of all the different muscle groups inside one muscle. And in those bellies store different memories and reactions. Think about this. If you were in a car accident, most of the time people say, oh, I don't remember. It was kind of hazy. I kind of had to eject from my body because it was really scary. The body does not have an eject button. So the memories that are embedded into the tissues of the body don't have a narrative the way that they do in your mind. So we want to get to the body for healing because it's a straight shooter for answers and information. And a lot of times we, in the mind, will connect something to the body and decide that it was from this accident or this situation. But the body might have a completely different story as to why it embedded into that specific area. And it might be a different situation or trauma, if you will. Okay, so that's the emotional body, totally different mindset. So if you're not getting the right answers in the physical area, then please go into the therapies to see if there isn't something off with our perception, behavior, approach, and awareness of how we operate in our life. Next is your energy body. You know, in the East, energy is the way that we treat illness or any sort of blockage. Chi, the word chi, ki in Japan, or prana in India, is your life force energy. It's the energy that happens the moment that you take a breath after you're born. And here in the United States, we don't have a word for that. We don't have a chi or a prana. But the energy body is our life force. It is what makes us who we are and conscious. The energy body often gets lumped in with the emotional body, and though they are really interwoven, they are not the same thing at all. And they require, again, a different team of people to help you navigate through your energy layer. I personally believe that the energy body is where the miracle keys live. When you treat the energy body, you will start to see the most beautiful, subtle shifts that are really easy to just mark off as a coincidence. Okay, when it comes to your body, coincidences don't exist. There is always a message from the body, and they mean it. So if you're having some issues and then you do a treatment or you don't do anything and it naturally goes away, you still might have done something that helps ease that energy body. We don't know. We can't really trace exactly. But I always use this as my example because it's easy. My mom broke her leg, actually the ankle, all the way through both bones. Had to get surgery, pins and screws and the whole deal. When she was able to start walking, she was in extreme pain. I took her to an acupuncture appointment. She'd never been to acupuncture before. Acupuncture treats the energy system of the body through the meridian channels. So any area that has stagnant chi, the needles or acupressure, if you just want to do pressure and not needles, can help to unblock the stagnant areas in the body. So my mom had a treatment, thought it felt nice. 3 days later, she was completely pain-free. To my mother, that was a coincidence. There is no way that those little needles made that kind of an impact. But guess what? That's what it is with the energy body. It's subtle. That's why other people, if you don't call it the energy body, it's also known as the subtle body. So a lot of people refer to it as the subtle body. Both are fine. Under the energy body, you're talking about Ayurvedic medicine, which is in India. You're talking about Chinese medicine. You're talking about practices, dance practice, things like Nia, Swahili for movement with purpose, things like journey dance, things like Tai Chi, Qigong, silk reeling, other kinds of martial arts, dance, Pilates, and of course, yoga. Those are energy practices that help you take control and learn how to release those stagnant areas in your body. And lastly, in this book is how to cultivate a spiritual practice for you. So what I do is I present who's who in the spiritual world and in different religions, and then the different angels. And if something resonates with you, go for it. Go deeper, study it. The other thing that we talk about in the spirit section is the 4 clairs: clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient, claircognizant. Which way do you resonate when spirit is trying to connect with you? A lot of people think seeing is believing, and they really want to be clairvoyant. Clairvoyant is really, really tough. It's a tough one because it's not that common. So it's really important that you know which way you navigate and which way that you receive information from spirit so that you can dive in and deepen that practice for yourself. And I also do divination tools, just an overview of different divination tools so that you can study them further if different things resonate with you. And then finally, the very beginning is the integration, because you are, after all, one being. You are in this life through the one vehicle, but the one vehicle is not one narrow path. So my point to this book is how to do research, what's out there in healing. And the other thing that I include is easy to reference charts, a lot of charts under each of the different aspects of the body and who you can go to. And because I am a clinical and neuromuscular massage therapist and body worker, I included an unbelievable amount of hands-on therapy practices because it's totally cool to go to the spa, no problem. But what if you really have a muscular ailment or some sort of issue in your body and you cannot seem to get it out or get it relieved? So what if you went to an osteopath or an occupational? Those are different. The therapies, let's look at some of the hands-on. We can look into Thai yoga therapy, Watsu, that's in the water, trigger approach, sports massage, hot stone, shiatsu, ashiatsu, dry needling, lomi, Ayurvedic, pediatric and infant are different. Tui Na, oncology massage, reflexology, craniosacral therapy, manual lymphatic drainage, trigger point therapy, structural integration. There's so many different therapies for you. And so if there is something that's really specific, you don't want to go general. And that's what my book provides, is where would you get started? And that's really important to me because I feel like people want to make a difference in their life and they have no idea where to start and no idea who to see or how to put this thing together. And that's where I come in, because there's not, to my knowledge, a book that really presents as much information, research, and opportunities to heal as this book does, especially because it does not have an attachment to which way you want to go. So if for your spiritual, if you want to go to church to help your spiritual, do that. If it's all in there. If you want to go to a psychiatrist and look for medication, no one has any right to judge you. No one has any business telling you what to do for your body, for your healing. But your job is to know the information, look wide and far, do your proper research, and then find your own path and create it for yourself. That's the deal. I want to open up to questions, if that's okay to do yet now with Anna, because I want you guys to be part of this. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know if I can help you in any way. I think if people watch my videos, I do a lot of work with the corks to help with the jaws, to help relieve tension headaches, to relax the area, to release the base of the skull. I talk about a lot of different tips and tricks. So if you're not following me currently, go to my Instagram, Emily A. Francis Books. That's Emily A. Francis with an I-S, Books. Follow me. And I release videos all the time on tips and tricks. I have one yesterday where we acknowledge the vagus nerve. So we do the cork in our mouth and then we hum to get not only the jaws, not only the tension headache, not only the base of the skull, but also to activate the vagus nerve in the body. And that is what I'm talking about. I want more bang for your buck, and I want to try to help you to get your greatest life and healing adventure without breaking your bank. What are my favorite approaches for fibromyalgia? Oh, Grace, I adore you for asking that question. This is where things get really tough. Fibromyalgia, in most cases, do not like to be touched. So they don't make a lot of appointments for hands-on body work, which happens to be what I do. So I don't work with people that have fibromyalgia, but I do help people to learn to work with themselves. So somebody that does have an autoimmune disease, especially something where it's not comfortable to be touched most of the time, that's when you do your own stretching, meditation, affirmation, get to know your body, follow some of the meditation work. On my website, I have a meditation train station where you learn your organs and you start to dialogue with them. I also have one for sleep, to help you go to sleep. I did it with a hypnotherapist, and it gets you into the REM sleep. But unfortunately, I don't have wonderful information for autoimmune and fibromyalgia, because what I would do if it were me is I would go to my naturopath. I would look for something called NAET, Nambujapad's allergy elimination technique, and help certain sensitivities work through. There is a lot of research that indicates that autoimmune disease has a very, very deep connection into the emotional part of the body. So if it were me, I would go really heavy into therapies like EMDR, eye movement desensitization reprocessing. I would learn all of my triggers for my body. That's food, that's touch, that's sound, that's things that people say, things that occur in your environment that are not necessarily healthy for you, and then learn how to make your own plan and navigate through to get you into a different level of being. I want to say in this book, Whole Body Healing, I talk about the pain body. I also talk about the pleasure body, because there's not enough of that. But in the pain body part, there's actual new research where they did it with mice, but they did it for autoimmune disease. And what they found was that there's a momentary trigger between remembering the trauma and feeling the pain that associates with it. And they can intercept that trigger, and then your body doesn't experience the pain that came with the sensation or the memory. So there's a lot of work that's happening right now. But for fibromyalgia, thank you. More than one person has asked now, or autoimmune diseases. This is where this book comes in. You have to navigate and find your own path to healing on that. But if it were me, I would call my naturopath, and I would call them quickly, and I would work on the sensitivities, and then I would start with a really good therapist. And I also talk about this in the book. Finding the right therapist is not easy. You have to resonate with them. They have to be somebody that you can really trust. If you feel like I got stuck with these people because they're the only ones my insurance covers, or they make me mad every time I'm there and I don't feel like they get me, they're not the right people for you. So you do have to find therapists and teammates that get you, that get where you're coming from and how you're feeling, and can help you to find the next thing. The other thing to do is to find people that are not money hungry, that are not trying to make you keep coming to them, even though they're not really providing relief. They should be able to give you numbers to people that can help you further. And if they aren't willing to do that, or they keep doing it and you're not finding results, they're not for you. Do you have insight on how we can explore these various practices for energetic body healing with cultural appreciation, as opposed to appropriation? I like that. Thank you, Letitia. I have a lot of information about energy practices in here. So in here, I put in Reiki, therapeutic touch, healing touch, Diksha blessings, pranic healing. Yes, there's a lot of practices for the energy body, and it's all in this book. It really is. I mean, I feel like I'm trying to sell myself, and I'm not trying to do that. But this is so many years of research and study, because I didn't even finish this part. It's in the intro of this book, but I didn't just recover myself from severe anxiety and panic. I recovered, or got my child through an autism spectrum diagnosis. And I realized people get mad when I say this, because there's a big belief that once you're on the spectrum, you can never get off the spectrum. And I'm going to say to you that nobody has any right to put a wall on your healing and decide where or where not you can heal and how far you can heal. My child was diagnosed at age 3. They removed her diagnosis before age 5. She no longer meets any criteria. And that is because we treated the energy body. We did all the things that everybody told us to do, and we saw little to no results. And then we went wide off the beaten path, and I found something called craniosacral therapy. And I watched her become verbal. I watched her brain reorganize itself. I watched her come to life in a way that I had never experienced with her. And now she has no therapies, no services. She's kicking butt at school. She's almost 8, and it's something that we still stay ahead of. It doesn't mean you just walk away, but we still do our craniosacral therapy. We still do our NAET with our naturopath, but all the other stuff that's on the mainstream, we stop doing. Again, I'm not knocking the mainstream avenues, because I did everything that everybody said. It just didn't work for us. But that's my encouraging, is that Nobody has any right to tell you that you can't heal. That's just not true. That's absolutely not true. And I've got all the documents to prove it when people get so nutty that then she was misdiagnosed. We had her diagnosed through 3 totally separate avenues, totally separate. And we had her rechecked through 2 avenues, 2 out of the 3, and they all agreed that there's no meeting of the criteria anymore for a DSM-5 diagnosis. And that, in my opinion, is because we did not stop on the different single aspects of the body. We included all of them. And honestly, for those 2 years, I had these books out and you didn't see a lot of me because my head was down and I was in really deep meditation all the time to go to spirit instead of friends. I didn't put it out on social media until we actually had recovery. I didn't share this with people because when you're working hard to save somebody's health or life, it's not the time to be really loud and to ask a whole lot of advice. It's the time to get really still and really quiet and find that path. And spirit, in my opinion, has to be part of that path. It has to be. And so I constantly was in meditation asking spirit, please show me the way. If you open the door, I promise I will follow. I will do anything that you expose to me as the next great healing. And that's how I found it. And for me, somebody called me and they asked me, if you had 5 minutes on a stage, do you know what you would say? And I said, absolutely, I know what I would say. And it's to give hope for your healing, because there's not enough of that in this world. And when you do go see those practitioners and they give you the worst case scenarios, I understand why they do it. They have to cover their butts. They have to. But we don't have to listen to that, and we don't have to follow that. And we do need to understand that the sky is the limit on our healing and on the opportunities to heal, and that what you're looking for might be right down the street from you and you just haven't heard of it yet. And I'm putting it in this book. But it also, there's people, look at Amy B. Scher. She's one of the Llewellyn authors who wrote How to Heal Yourself When No One Else Can. She got on a plane and went to India. And she did stem cell treatment for her end-stage Lyme disease. It had as much chance of killing her as it did of saving her. And she went and saved her life. There's opportunities around the world. And those opportunities that are around the world might have local practitioners that are a block away from your house. And you just didn't know yet. So that's my whole point, is to help you know you're not alone. There is help. There is opportunities to heal, and nobody has any right to tell you what the limit is. Now, somebody else is asking me about TMJ, which is my jam. All right. So TMJ, when you start to hear the popping, it means there's a reducing dislocation happening in the jaw. We want to get rid of that. We want to head that off at the pass. Your cork is your best friend. 3 minutes a day, first thing in the morning. I keep one in my purse. I keep one in my glove box so that if I'm sitting in traffic and getting really angry, or for clinchers or grinders, you put it in vertical. And I want you to watch my face for a second, because when you open the mouth and it's tight and the chin it's locked forward for a second. Then when you put the cork in, the body will naturally get into position. The base of the skull will open, which is exactly the opposite muscle to the jaw. You can't work one without the other if you really want good balance. So watch my face for a second. Open and ready to go. 3 minutes with a quirk. Okay. I love Christine. Thank you for loving Amy's book. Amy wrote the foreword to Whole Body Healing. I love her. She's my jam. She is such a beautiful woman. So amazing. And she is the person that wrote the foreword to this book. Okay. TMJ, we got a note. A note on that their fibromyalgia is controlled 80% by food choices. I think that is incredible. And we talk about in this book the difference between a nutritionist, a registered dietitian, and a specialty into those particular diets. So if you do start to look into food, you can either start with the elimination diet or go find someone who specializes exactly with fibromyalgia, because that's a totally different diet than everything else. So let me preface with that. Any advice for tinnitus, ear ringing? I would go to my acupuncturist in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat. That's the first place I would go. What would you recommend for a bad thyroid? I would look into a macrobiotic diet. I would look to a nutritionist. I would look into getting proper blood work. I would make sure that you have the right doctor for the thyroid. Make sure that you're with a specialist. You follow those people. You go to people that really know the thyroid. And then you also have to know if it's Hashimoto's or what kind of thyroid, hyper, hypo. Don't be afraid to get on medication. It's really important for thyroid. So find your specialist and then find your integrative medical practitioners that are a little more alternative, and then look into the proper diets. A lot of people have had great success with the macrobiotic. You can look up somebody named Andrea Beeman. She has a Hashimoto's and does the macrobiotic diet, and she's written a lot of books about that. Chronic migraine, I would look into my blood work. I would look into hormones. Is it hormone driven? Is it not? I would go to my OBGYN and I would go to my acupuncturist if I had chronic migraines. Those are the two places I would go, and I would go fast. Okay, MS is a whole different game. I would highly suggest some cannabis therapy if you're willing and open. Again, go the naturopath, homeopath. Go to your regular practitioner. Make sure you're going to the proper specialist. Do inquire about some medical cannabis. It might really be helpful for that. But again, I'm not a doctor, and I'm just the studier and body worker. How do you feel about water flotation therapy for pain management? Is awesome. Now that I can talk about because I am a manual lymph drainage therapist. I work on something called lymphedema, which happens after cancer, or primary, which is not related to cancer. Nothing compresses the tissues except for water. So all these doctors that don't understand about lymphedema keep saying to go walk, run, and bike. That is just absolutely wrong. Absolutely wrong. Water therapy is the way to go. Water therapy for pain management is one of the best things you could do. You could look into that massage practice, Watsu, W-A-T-S-U. It's in this book. And they float you through and open up the body. It's really fabulous. Lomi Lomi is a massage, not in the water, but similar. I fractured my left arm radius in 4 places. Any hints on strengthening the bones? If it were me, I would find a Qigong practitioner or Tai Chi because it strengthens all the way to the bone marrow. I would also make sure that I have my specialist, my doctor, and I would be taking the proper supplements. Okay, I've had 2 spinal fusions. Oh, water therapy has helped great. Thank you for that. So, I hope I'm not overstepping any boundaries as I'm giving advice because, again, I'm not a medical practitioner at all. What I'm telling you is what practitioners are out there that can help you find your information, get you on your best diet, your best supplements, your best practices. That's what's so important about this, is that somebody out there, someone out there knows your condition. Every person that's written in and every person that watches this later, somebody out there really understands your condition. Concussion, 100% craniosacral therapy. Craniosacral therapy has so much research on concussion work. That's what they specialize in. But you also want to make sure that when you go to find a therapist, you got to be really, really picky about how much training this person has to work with concussions. And if you want to email me and give me your city and your zip code, I will find you a therapist and I will send you their information, because concussion therapy for concussions is really fantastic. And craniosacral therapy, Upledger craniosacral therapy, is the place to go for concussions, in my humble opinion. But you want to really make sure that you're going to the best of the best in your area, and I'll help you find them. Okay, what to do for multi-system atrophy? Can it be cured? I have no business saying it can or cannot be cured. No business. But I can give you hope that I believe in miracles and miracle healing, and this doesn't mean that I can change the length of your life, but I can help you find ways to change the quality of your life. Oh, good. Cannabis is legal where you are. Thank you for that, because that's important for MS. Catching the replay. I hope you do. Okay. Do you have a list of certain therapists in different states in the books? I do not. I do not, because that would be a whole book all by itself, because there's so many different therapies. So that's why I did all these easy to read charts of therapies, and they're under the same thing. They're under the physical. Who is your specialist? Who is the people that you should call if it is a thyroid issue, if it is oncology, if it is something else? Then under the emotional, who are those specialists? Who are those people? And then under body treatments as well. This goes on. This list is comprehensive. So I'm so grateful for all of you for allowing me this time. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you know that healing is possible and that it's your job to take it upon yourself to find those people that know exactly what you need, get them and line up with them. And I'm so grateful. Again, I host every week All About Healing. Tomorrow's show features Raven Keys, a Llewellyn author who does medical Reiki. So tomorrow's show on All About Healing on healthylife.net, you can call in, you can talk to me and Raven and know that Raven Keys is on tomorrow, healthylife.net. That's All About Healing on Healthy Life Radio. You guys, I pray you get my book. I hope you find it fascinating and email me anytime. I will help you navigate your way. I will. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.